Right. Now we're at the rules and procedures part. On the rules and procedures thing, we're going to talk about teacher pet peeves, my pet peeves. And some of these probably aren't surprising, belittling of others. I do not like when students or any human being talks down to another person. Um, my thought process with that is for those of you who are extremely book smart or just pick up things really easily, you don't make a choice to do that. There was never a choice when you're in your mama's belly or any time since then. There was never a point at which you thought, I'm going to be smart. I'm going to, when somebody explains something, I'm going to be able to understand it the first time. And for those of you who need repeated help, I don't think you ever chose and said, I'm going to make sure that I need as much help as possible. I'm going to have the teacher repeat things 3 or 4 times to me. And at some point, all of you are going to be on that part where you pick up things easily, and all of you are going to be at that point where you just struggle with something. I know I find myself on both sides of those pretty often. So don't talk down to other people. Don't belittle other people. It shows that your heart is ugly. Waste. I hate waste. I hate waste of paper. I hate waste of time. I hate waste of potential in students and others. I just hate waste in general. I really like efficiency, and so waste is a problem for me. So I'll be reusing paper in class, and I won't. I will do what I can to make sure that you're not wasting your time or your potential. Unnecessary standing. I will probably ask. Oftentimes, we're going to be seated. Now, we may be seated on the floor. We may be seated outside. We may be seated on the tables and the chairs. Whatever. I'll make that clear. But I just loitering, standing around without a purpose is something that just kind of bothers me. And that's not necessarily a bad thing that you're doing that. But I just want you to know that that's going to be something that I expect that if you're walking around, go and do what you got to do, and then go sit back down. And complacency, being okay. With where you are and not wanting to grow. That bothers me. Again, I want to learn. I want to be smarter tomorrow. I want to be smarter when I'm 40, 50, 60 than I am today. So things that I expect, the things that you need to expect. You need to expect that our room's going to be on the colder side. So if you want to bring a jacket, then you can. You can leave one in your locker. You want to get an old jacket and just leave one in your locker, then that's fine. Or a long sleeve shirt, that's fine. But it's probably going to be cold in my room. Won't be cold outside most of the days. We'll be going outside a good bit, and so it's going to be hot out there. So just kind of dress accordingly. Take notes and study them each night. I'm expecting that you are going to go home and look over the notes. Maybe teach your parents what you learned that day. What did we talk about in class today? Teach them. You can pull up the computer. Your notebook should be online. You can view that from there. You can teach your sibling, your baby sister, your pet rock, the wall. The person that you find in the mirror. I don't care who you teach, but just going through what we talked about is going to help you understand it better for that day. And then one other expectation is that you enjoy learning. I want you to enjoy learning, not just what we teach in class, but in general. I want to encourage you to love learning. Hand signals. So we talked about this in the first video. I mentioned it. 3 hand signals. If you need to sharpen your pencil, you're going to use one finger. And if you think about it, one finger being held up looks like a pencil. So put your pointer finger, not any other finger, that might get you in trouble, but put your pointer finger straight up and raise your hand, and I know you need to sharpen your pencil. That way, if we're just about to finish a topic and your pencil breaks and you need to sharpen it, you don't stop the whole class from finishing that topic, finishing that discussion, or interrupt someone else just to sharpen your pencil. You raise your hand, I'll nod my head when I see you, and you can go to the pencil sharpener. Two fingers is I need a tissue. So you can, if you hold up 2 fingers like a peace sign, you can either stick them in your nostrils and stop the runny nose, or you can hold them up and go blow your nose. That's the easy way to remember. I don't expect that you actually clog your nose with your fingers, but that's how I remember. So 1 finger looks like a pencil. 2 fingers you can either use to go get a tissue, or you can use to plug your nose. And then 3 fingers is that you need to go to the bathroom. So the way I remember this is if you need to go number 1 or number 2, hold up number 3. So if you need to go pee or use the restroom by going poop, then just hold up a number 3 and I'll let you go. So in general, for several of the classes, you have a bathroom break before my class and after my class. And so going during my class, there's not really a reason, but you do have an emergency. You have a freebie pass. After that, there's a solid chance you're going to have silent lunch. I know when I go to the movies, I try to go to the bathroom before the movie starts. Like when the previews are coming out, I try to go to the bathroom so I don't have to go during the movie. And I don't expect you to be this is not going to be like an Avengers level entertainment or anything like that. But I do expect that you try to plan. So go to the bathroom before class, go to the bathroom after class. You have lunch break to go to the bathroom. I think you have like 6 bathroom breaks throughout the day. So use those, use it once or twice, and you shouldn't have to use any more. But if you do have an emergency, just come and talk to me, let me know, and you'll sign out. And that one's a freebie. And then the next one will probably end in silent lunch. But we'll just go by play it by ear. 5 fingers. If you have a regular question, that's 5 fingers. There's not a 4. So number 1 looks like a pencil. Number 2, you can plug your nose or go get a tissue with them. Number 3, if you have to go number 1 or go number 2, then hold up number 3. And then just a regular question is 5. So academic grading scale, I think you can see that this is similar to last year. This has changed recently in the last couple of years, but last year it's the same. You can read that there. Keep your stuff organized. This includes your notebook and your online notebook. All students should keep an organized notebook. I think I have a typo right there. All students should keep an organized notebook and Google Drive. So I may periodically check throughout the year. More important than that, it's just going to help you keep your stuff together. I'm going to do very little homework throughout the year. Most of the homework that you're going to have is either a project that you didn't finish in class or classwork that you did not finish in class. And then on top of that, just studying. So I expect that you study for 5 or 10 to 15 minutes each day. So, and then extra credit, there are several ways. Thank you. There are several ways of getting extra credit. And that's up right now. If you look on my website, it's on there, and I'll show you in class at a later date how to get there. But it's on my website. It says, do you want extra credit? Or it says extra credit. That's on there. If you have questions, before you do any of those extra credits, you might want to read it, try to understand it, and then come ask me a question to make sure you're doing it right. There's a food diary you can take. There's going outside and finding plants and taking pictures of them. You can easily get 5, 10, sometimes 20 points on a test grade to do those. And those are up all year. Now, if you turn it in at week 8, there's a solid chance I'm not going to grade it before the end of the 9 weeks. So there's no guarantee of when that extra credit goes in, but it will go to a test grade. The sooner you get it to me, the sooner I will be able to grade it. So that is the least of my priorities as far as grading, but it will get you extra credit one way or the other. Yes, and towards the end of the year, the second half of the 9 weeks, I generally don't accept extra credit. So there's that. So extra credit is there all year long, but don't expect just because you turn it in on Thursday that I'll have it graded by that afternoon and in the grade book Friday. Like it may take 2 weeks to turn in. I mean, to get graded and get done, because that is at the bottom of my priority. The easiest way, before you do extra credit, the easiest way to help your grade is just do the assignments that I assign and turn in something. A horrible assignment is better. You could argue this other way, but for the most part, if you just turn in an assignment, even if it's not a great assignment, it's going to help your grade more than turning in nothing at all. And the last thing, I've already told you this, you need to get this document signed. You need to sign it, and your parents need to sign it, or one of your parents. And if they want to get added to my emails, if they don't get an email within about 2 weeks or so, then they can email me. If you get this turned in by the date at the bottom, then you'll receive a 100. The next day it's a 75. Every day after that is 25 points off. And at the end of that, once you get a zero for a grade, that'll be your grade in the grade book for this, and you'll have silent lunch until you bring this back to me. So chances are I'm going to get this back from you. The difference is just, what is your grade going to be? 100, 75, 50, 25, or a 0? Let's go ahead and get that 100. I think you have 4 or 5 or 6 nights to get this back to me and still make it 100. So yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, let me know. Shoot me an email or just talk to me in class.